I see you have excellent taste.
So Hoot Apollo. Oh, I love this start, by the way. So the reason why we're starting Flawless Advance is because of the AP point. The initial AP point is plus 35 healing on perfect hit. So this essentially makes it so you win every trade. So it's a nice little thing to do. And just like that, he's already won the first trade. But yeah, so next wave, he's going to get the point into it, and it's going to help him a lot. Yeah, he's on screen now, so you can't ignore us. I can't ignore you guys. And this is a very out of the ordinary start for Apollo. Going extra spirit usually isn't that great, but Apollo's scalings are quite good. And because of that, he's able to do those types of things, and then, oh, that's nice hit too. So he takes our post second, great defensive tool. Normally people ended up going the disengaging sigil just for more damage. This the Flawless Advance doesn't do enough damage yet to proc Mystic Burst, so there's no reason to go Mystic Burst first item. So the Mystic Burst tends to be for the people who are starting disengaging sigil. So right now he's paired up with the Ladybug Geist, and the goal of Apollo in early game is literally just to win the lane and push his advance. So he wants to push the lead as much as he can, and that's why he's going like the Flawless Advance. He's paired up with another aggressive laner, and this way they can take the Guardian quickly, and then he's paired up with the M1 so that they can anchor. So once the guys can anchor in the lane, the Apollo is often free to roam on any other lane after they've won it. Extra regen is great for extra sustain. And I like this. So you can see that he's already looking for a roam. His Eternus and Lash are being pushed up, so he's looking for the roam on this lane. Oh, nice little movement tech for disengaging sigil. And now he's relieved the pressure, allowing them to go and clear the wave safely. So now they know, and the reaction from Abraham's was to push out blue, and that's why the Bebop's pushing, but the Calico is out roaming, picking up all the boxes. So right now, Abraham's goal is to leave the Bebop anchor, while Bovenjoy's goal is to leave the guys anchored. It's similar thing to what he did on the left side, he's looking to do on the right side. He's here to relieve pressure on the lanes so people can do what they want to do. So the Rem is probably in Rem tunnels or picking up boxes. And then he's gonna look, and the Rem's gonna look to support, and they're gonna do a little bit of a lane swap. So now the Rem is coming back to lane, because the guys didn't need any help. They're just gonna look to kill this Abrams. There you go. So they get the trade kill, and then here's a little bit of a lane swap. You can see that the Billy is going back to blue, cover the wave. The guys just died. The Billy is going to take the free bit of money, and then rotate back. Maybe looking for some jungle camps on the in-between.
Let's take out Mirage.
Oh, that's interesting. So, Hoot literally just faked leaving lane and looked for a roam, but instead he comes back and self-ganks with the Billy. It didn't work out, but there was a play. And he did end up wasting his ultimate. So it's a bit of a rough start, but they do end up coming back into this game. So, the Mystic Expansion is great for Flawless Advance, giving it that extra range and just making it easier to hit at further ranges. But he will end up going Greater Expansion, which will also help with Disengaging Sigil as well as the Tiny Glison. But there's a lot of movement on the map. The Eternus came blue. Chased along there. But they're also just giving Zergy the solo lane. The Lash lane is lost, but the way that Buff and George plays Lash, which is Gun Lash, they are okay with leaving Zergy in the side lane by himself. Now that they know that Mirage is alone, Drake goes back and helps him kill the Mirage, and they're gonna look to maybe take the Guardian. Or at least put some pressure on it. And I like what Hoot's doing. He's just looking for small little victories. He doesn't need to necessarily play for the waves. But these little trades that he's doing for, like, after pushing out a wave, he looks for the jungle, looks for some tier 1 camps, will help him get that little bit of extra money in the early game.
Vindicta's on the roof. I see Vindicta. I see Calico. I see Vindicta.
And this is one of the few cases where this is really good from the Vindicta. So, normally when you're running away from someone, you're going to want to look back and shoot at them, put some pressure on so they stop chasing you. But the reason why the Vindicta isn't doing that is because the moment she does, she's going to get riposted and just die. So she's just focusing on getting away and making sure that her movement's clean and making sure that the chase is hard. Or as hard as it can be. And because of that, Hoot is overextended trying to get the Vindicta, ends up getting killed. And then she ends up giving a stack to the Vindicta. Okay, so with that sight, Hoot knows that they just took some of the sinners. So they only was left with one. But what some people will commonly do is they'll actually leave the the creep in there to make it seem like they haven't done the doubles yet, or the enemy team hasn't done the doubles. So when the enemy team tries to look at their doubles, they're like, "Oh crap, the doubles are taken already." So they only have the small camp to clear. And this way it also prevents the respawn timer, so that the other team doesn't get the timing for it, and it essentially gets rid of a lot of these Scolded Statue buffs, which helps with the scaling.
I see Mirage.
This is a good flank on the Mirage.
Abrams
Yeah.
on the bridge.
He puts the pressure on the Mirage, making it so that he can't look to grab the urn. Instead, Hoot grabs it, and now he's going to play for the urn. And this is just really good. The big thing is, you want the urn to be picked up by your roamers. Hence why it's like Apollo, Billy, maybe even Eternus this game, Lash. And that's because they're going to be the ones that are going to be doing a lot of the early game stuff, and are going to be losing out on a lot of the money. So a way to to supplement all of that is just by picking up the urn and getting the buffs. He tries to use his body there to get the buff, or to secure the orbs, making it so it's more difficult for the enemy team to confirm them, or to deny them. Oh, what a hook. And I'm pretty sure that just shows you why he bought Healing Booster. So, the heal on hero hit when you're on perfect hold is actually crazy. Just because it's 162, and you saw it in that fight, it essentially turned that fight entirely, and Hoot was actually prevented his own death. It wouldn't necessarily say it's the reasoning is the Healing Booster, but he was able to heal up to a reasonable HP bar, which allowed him to escape. And this is massive. The change that they made to Resto Locket was a 0.32, was previously 0.32, and now it's 0.5. So that the scaling from Resto Locket is a lot stronger. So this is why people have been buying more often, and the burst heal from it is actually insane. And it also supplements things like extra stam and whatnot, because they don't need to buy it because it restores up to 3 stamina. And that's actually insane. With how badly it started, Geist and someone else died early, making the fight way more difficult than it needed to. And the sustain from the Apollo in that fight just allowed him to survive and time out the the Rift. And the other thing is, the Wrestle Locket pairs very well with Healing Booster because it's healing, so it heals even more. So the burst healing is actually just ridiculous in the early game with this combo.
Headed to yellow. I see Bebop.
And because there's no real objective on the map right now, all he's doing is he's farming boxes, making sure that lanes are pushed out, and just chilling out. There's no reason to be fighting. There's nothing to play for. You could arguably say that things like Sinners and stuff are things that you can play for, but it's still too early in the game for objectives like mid-boss to look for a pick, and just because there's only a few camps up, it makes the Sinners not that big of a target to contest. And you can see that they are contesting them, because it's one of the few like smaller objectives to contest. Plus, it's also bridge also spawning. This Apollo is going to be extremely hard to kill, even though he doesn't have Green Spike. With all those items, he just becomes a menace. The pairing that he has is great. And I like the fact that the Apollo isn't joining in this fight. The reason is, he's going to have a big bag from the Sinners. He knows that the longer he takes, or it's going to be difficult to get there in time to really make a difference. And plus, he's going to have to fix all the waves and whatnot first as well. So that's why Hoot is not joining this fight. Even though it's a good fight, he's currently unable to because he has to fix a lot of the other things first. So just because Hoot didn't come to this, to that fight there, he was able to get blue prio again, make sure that the blue walker didn't go down. His team was able to get the urn, as well as have all the other lanes pushing. Good ult attempt. And ultimately leads to nothing. They got one kill together.
Thanks for the assist.
Yeah. Knowing how Buffenjoyers used to play, or tended to play before, a mid-boss was an angle there. But instead, I like this play a little bit better. They're just taking it easy, playing for the Sinners and the smaller objectives, making sure that they can maintain this lead. Plus, the respawn timers are still a little bit low at this point in the game. It's not quite worth it.
It pales on cooldown.
So as before, he's just chilling out, taking it easy. But this time, instead, he's playing with his team. He doesn't need to be the one on the side lane. So he's just chilling out, taking it easy, making sure that blue stays safe, and he's just scouting. That's why he's playing off to the side. He's making sure that Abrahams isn't able to take any space. And he literally just came over just in case the Eternus needed some help, and they were looking for something or a bait play on the wave on yellow. So now that they have the waves pushed, they're looking for a fight.
Let's take out I see Bebop.
Yo, Shelby, thank you for the raid. How was your stream? Oh, I like this too. So they immediately went to mid. So they forced out a lot of stuff. So they forced out a bunch of ults. They don't, and nor does Abrahams have any ult contest. This makes it really hard into things like Lash Billy and whatnot. So they're able to just get 3 reges and just push their lead now. This is huge. And just like that, no one goes down, and they get the free rejuve, and they didn't even lose their blue walker. So this is massive. Okay, so they did end up losing the walker. But with the 3 rejuves, they're going to be able to take him back.
take out Mirage.
And because the game is even enough, Abrahams is forced to give up the Rift, and this is going to give them enough pushing power to even take this Walker.
Let's take out Mirage. Let's take out Mirage. Let's take out Venator.
Big W, Shelby. Big W.
Venator. I see Mirage. Let's push. Let's take out Mirage. Let's take out Mirage. Let's take out Mirage. I'm taking their team apart brick by brick.
And they're just escorting the wave, the Rift waves. The minions are so strong that they can literally just look past everything and let the minions take the Walker. So this way they can create the space for the minions to actually take the objective. And because Abrahams are forced to look for the wave, they can just take everything. Yes. So Salamence, the reason why there's a bunch of ping spamming is because they're using a mod in order to that whenever they use an ability, it pings like what they're looking at. So it just shows what they're using it on. And it's just a way to keep like a check on like who they're targeting and whatnot as well. It is a pretty OP mod. Like I think almost every pro uses it right now. At least not, well, every Buff and Joyers players uses it. So the big thing here that Buff and Joyers are playing for, they just got the urn. So the big thing is they're just going to chill out and use the rest of the rejuve to continue expanding their lead. And again, they just took the Rift, they just did the urn as well. There's no objective to play for. They're just going to chill out, steal jungle, and look to take some space. Buff and Joyers doesn't need to play scared, but they still need to play grouped. So they don't want people getting picked. I'm with you, Pengu, on that one. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure you can bind your ping key to like your mouse button, like mouse button key, and it would work just the same. It'd be annoying as hell for some people, but it is what it is. And funny enough, this rebuttal buy isn't even that bad. It's a small little item purchase that, one, it would help with mid-bosses that are coming up, but that's not really the focus right now. The other thing is, he's buying it because he wants a little bit of melee resist from like things like the Calico, maybe even the Venator, but even a Bebop hook would help. It would help against, but the main thing is the Abrams. Getting bursted down by this Abrams is going to be painful. Just having that little bit of extra melee resist is going to help a lot. But yeah, Buff and Joyce isn't playing too aggressive. They're just taking it easy. And they're just stalling until next mid-boss, pretty much. And once there's about like 30 seconds or so, like a minute to 30 seconds, they're going to then look for a pick. And the issue is, if you look at the comp comparison, right? Buff and Joyce don't really have a pick character outside of things like the Lash. So it's going to take a full hardened gauge of like Infernus ult, Billy ult, Lash ult, Rem ult. But they have a lot of AoE. And that's kind of what's happening here.
Let's take out Venator. Bebop's over there. I see Venator. Let's take out Venator.
And there's the Rem sleep. But the Billy ends up going down. These are great hooks by Tass in this fight. And I love that from Hoot as well. So, Hoot recognizes that he wants to maintain the tag-along for the rest of his team. And the only way to do that is by showing himself to the Rem. And just like that, they're able to turn it. And they're all still healthy for this too. While instead, Abrahams are forced away, and now they can pick up the urn and double buffs, and then use this power to even fight this next mid-boss. And the big thing is, Buff and Joyers do not care about this rift at all. Mid-boss is coming up in about 30 seconds. They're just going to let them have it. They're going to defend this and then go straight to mid pretty much. And because of how good their ultimates are, Buff and Joyers don't really care because they're just going to fight in pit and win the fight. So now these teams are in a bit of a standstill. They each want to look for a pick because the next pick leads to the mid-boss. And it's harder for Buff and Joyers to do so. And this is just because they don't have the pick character. So the big thing is, Buff and Joyce wants to engage on their terms, but Abrahams is going to have, or make that hard just because of the beat bop. The beat bop's going to look for a hook, and if whoever gets hooked first has the chance of dying, which is essentially forcing out the Rem tag along and a lot of util usage to just prevent them from dying. And because of how many resources, it automatically makes the fight a pretty difficult fight, so they have to take it easy and just back off and reset. And because either team has spent a lot of time looking for a pick, they were just able to look, or Buff and Joyce were able to look at their own jungle afterwards and just chill out. And because Buff and Joyce were doing that and they lived, well, it's a good pick on Listic. That's just a great play from Abrahams. They get the initial pick on Listic, which is their main front line, and without their front line, it's hard to play like a front to back, and the comp just kind of falls apart. So essentially what happened there is Buff and Joyce were pretty much forced to fight that because this is a big turning point in the game. They wanted to at least maybe steal 1 or 2, maybe look for a kill on someone just to delay some stuff. But they failed. But they needed to. Because without it, even though they staggered themselves, they're still going to be able to defend. But they just want to get rid of some of the rejuves so they can play at an even standing. So now Buff and Joyce are forced to kind of sit back and turtle up for a bit, which isn't a position they want to be in. But I will say though, Tass has been landing some really, really good hooks throughout this game. Pretty much saving Abrahams for the most part. Yeah. And this is a great purchase. He sells the rebuttal because he's missing out on flex slots. But the Spirit Burn is great for anti-heal, and it's going to be great into the big bulky guys like Venator, Beat Bop, Abrams, even the Mirage. And with the recent nerf, it works. It's based off per person, rather than it being just an explosion that deals big damage.
I see Bebop.
Who pumped out a lot of damage there, and it really helped on the peel for Listic. Now they're just able to reset. And Abrahams didn't want to use a Rejuve in that situation either, because they want to use it for pushing this Walker down. But instead, I think they're just going to reset, take it slow, farm up their jungle again, and maintain their lead. Because the Rejuve's about to expire. So if they wanted to, they could have chased it, but there's no reason to force it when they're already out of position.
Death brings consequences once more.
But again, this game will be at a bit of a standstill. Each team is playing for the mid-boss spawn. And this is a great turn. Even though Hoot does die, they're able to turn the fight a decent amount and make it a 2-for-1 trade. But the intent was there. If they had the Rem ult through the wall for that play, this fight would have turned out very differently. As not only Listic would have survived, but Hoot would have as well, and they could have easily turned the fight on the people who were chasing into that room. But I do think it's a little optimistic of Buffenjoyers to take that fight, or that initial fight, just because they're going onto their side under their walker. So it's a pretty rough fight to begin with. Buffenjoyers are down, so they're deciding to take this Rift fight, because they'll have the resistances, and this will benefit them.
I see Calico. I see Venator.
Big kill onto Shriek. They win the Rift, and now they can use this to push the Walker again. Similar thing to what they did when they had the Rejuve. Again, this last flex slot, or this extra flex slot, is huge for Buffenjoyers. They really needed it. And I do like this from Buffenjoyers. They're taking a little bit of the jungle on the way out, which is always something you should be looking for, if it's possible. It's just a way to help build their lead or to come back into the game.
Abrams is here.
Oh, please. Playtime.
Let's take out Bebop.
But I like how aggressive Hoot is playing. He's not scared, knowing that his team is backing him. And getting any good poke out before a fight is going to be massive. So now that the Mirage is low, he's forced to back away. So he had to reset. So if a fight were to break out, the Mirage is out of the play. Making that fight a 5v6, making the fight a little bit easier for Buffenjoyers. And it's just going to be a battle for mid prio, because anyone who has that is able to look for a pick.
I see Calico.
Third person peeking to locate where the enemy is. Just trying to get insight. That's a big hook. Big resto locket and DB from Hoot and Overkim. Actually just saved his life.
I see Venator. Abrams is here.
But I like this from Hoot. He's not completely taking himself out of the fight because he knows he has the ability to regen a lot of HP. He started the game really low. And just like that, he was able to get a bunch of HP back from the Rem, from whatnot. As well as his flawless advanced healing. Like getting a 350 HP per hit is just massive. So I'm glad he doesn't take himself out of the fight fully. And Obakim's Rem is just healing them back up. They're just going to look to reset probably and then look for a mid-boss. Good Dispel to prevent the anti-heal. They're just getting the blue prio before going in. And that is really greedy, very greedy from Sonya. Good counterspell from the Vin. Aww. But these stagger kills are going to be massive. They just staggered the Vin kill, they staggered the Mirage kill. They're just going to be able to look into the base and end the game. They've already taken one of the shrines, so they are going to get the drop. Especially without two of their key DPS players. It's going to be really, really hard. 400 to 3700 HP in 10 seconds, yeah. The benefit of having a Rem burst heal on your team, as well as all of the flawless advanced healing. Good hook from Tass to bring Cosmetical into the base. And I love this target priority. You saw the Venator? Even though he didn't end up hitting him with it, it's still massive. He still understands who the target priority was in that fight. Now, big lash out from Zergy. The amount of healing from the Rem is actually sustaining them to the point where they're able to win this fight. They had to go through they pretty much won that fight 5v6. And a lot of it was because of the amount of healing that their team had. That is crazy. That is a crazy amount of damage from an Apollo. Top damage of his team.